All right. So what we're talking about is just what's currently in the news headlines and in the new on the news pundits' lips, and that's obviously news headlines and whoa, whoa, hold on a second. News pundits. So that was my audio check, which means it's working. Woohoo! Okay, sorry about that.
Happy Monday, Sid.
And to you, Banto. Welcome to my hangout, to our hangout.
Okay, well, just to tell the listeners, we wish you all well. We had another act of terrorism go down in our, most major city here in the United States. And what's remarkable about it, we'll go ahead and, read the basic of the story if you're not up to speed on it. What's remarkable about it is the authorities that are in charge of that city. And, I really haven't heard any federal response as of yet. The pains that they're taking to somehow soften the blow to what we know about Islamic radicalization in the world, and especially that's happening to our own country, within certain people in our own countries, not on the whole, of course, but the sort of like gentleness and politeness to supposedly prevent us, the citizen, from taking a reprisal. Obviously, that's the aim of all this political correctness that they're in. It's just striking on its face. I mean, that's not how law should work in a country. Okay, please, Sid, could you read that story where we're at now? Screen share.
Let me screen share it as well.
All right. Oh, we also invite the listeners. If you have any questions, just go ahead and put it in the YouTube chat, and we'll be.
Are you watching the chat?
Oh, I'm not, but I'll crack it open and see what's in there.
Yeah. So the headline on the Washington Post about the New York and the New Jersey bombings suggests that a suspect in these bombings has been taken into custody after a shootout, but there's no indication of him being part of a terror cell. Let's see. So it's a report from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Authorities on Monday, which is what, today, apprehended 28-year-old Khan Rahami, wanted in connection with two Saturday bombings in Seaside Park, New Jersey and Manhattan after an apparent shootout with police. Chris Boyd, the mayor of Elizabeth, New Jersey, another city touched by the widening probe, told reporters that Rahami was taken into custody in the neighboring city of Linden. One officer was struck in the hand, another on a protective vest, the mayor said. Rahami was also shot and was taken away in an ambulance, the mayor said. Television footage showed the suspect being wheeled into an ambulance, hands cuffed, eyes open. He was taken to University Hospital in Newark, according to a hospital spokeswoman, but his condition was not immediately available. Police and the FBI had announced early Monday that they were seeking Rahami in connection with the bombings in New Jersey and Manhattan's Chelsea district, though his role in the incidents remains unclear. Rahami is a naturalized U.S. citizen born in Afghanistan, according to the FBI.
Okay, one thing, if I could just jump in, that's noteworthy on its face right there. Please continue, Sid.
We have every reason to believe this was an act of terror, New York Mayor Bill de Blasio, Democrat, said at a news conference Monday afternoon discussing the bombings. Earlier in the day, he had said the investigation was leaning in that direction. Now that Rahami is in custody, the investigation is shifting to focus on whether he acted alone and what his motivation may have been. James O'Neill, the New York Police Commissioner, said at the same briefing. That is, that's just so...
I know.
It's a boilerplate.
That is so freaking politically. Please continue, Sid. Sweeney.
William Sweeney Jr., assistant director in charge of the FBI's New York division, said that authorities have found no indication that there is a terror cell operating in the area.
Okay,
A
one thing,
manhunt.
Sid,
What's that?
why is that even necessary? Okay, keep continuing.
Yeah, I agree. The manhunt for Rahami came after authorities took 5 people into custody Sunday night for questioning in connection with the Chelsea bombing, and after law enforcement in New Jersey worked to render safe multiple improvised explosive devices discovered at a train station Sunday in Elizabeth, just across from Staten Island.
Okay, 1 second, Sid. Sid, a guy comes out and says there's no indication of a terror cell operating in the area, and the next paragraph say multiple improvised explosive devices. I mean, how is the no indications of a terror cell supposed to palliate the sensibilities of the citizenry?
Knee-jerk statement, maybe. Knee-jerk
I don't think
reaction.
I really, you could have a point. I really don't think it's by design. It's supposed to be knee-jerk. This is supposed to be like, these Islamic what do you call lobbyist groups?
But there's a lot of Muslims in New Jersey. I think there's a
Yes,
huge
I agree.
amount of them.
But I also know that there's a lot of Islamic lobbyist groups that know the phone numbers of these agencies, and the first thing that happens when something Islamic happens in our country is they go ahead and call these guys and tell them, hey, you better make sure that there's no reprisals from the citizenry. And I mean, that's not the foremost goal of our law enforcement agencies. Our foremost goal of law enforcement agencies is just to find out what the heck's going on there. They should not be protecting the interests of a group that wants to bring us harm in this country. If you want to continue the article, I mean, but you've detected that the rest of the article is like boilerplate. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'll leave it there.
No, it's okay. I think we've pretty much covered it.
Right. Okay, Sid. How would this be handled in Israel? Just can you give me a ballpark? I mean, a bombing happens where, is the first thing they're going to say is like, we're not sure this is Palestinian, if it happens in Tel Aviv. Is that the foremost?
Well, you saw what happened. I don't know if you watched the video. I watched it this morning. An Arab guy had 2 knives and he was threatening to stab some soldiers.
Right.
And they took him out. They took him down. They took him out.
Are they going to say like, well, he may have looked
like... They would do the same thing in America. Exactly the same thing.
Yes, they would. But I mean, would the spokesperson say, well, even though he looked like an Arab, we're not sure. Is that the first thing that's going to come out of their mouth?
They look at knives, that see somebody trying to kill a soldier, and then they'll shoot. And then if it's a Palestinian or a Jew or whatever, they'll find out afterwards.
Right. Okay. Okay, Sid, let me ask you this. Do you think it's necessary to protect the Islamic people first?
No.
I'll be back in 1 second. In our country, like, their citizens are going to have a reprisal if the authorities don't come out and say, well, we're not sure these are Islamic terrorists, I'll be back in 1 second.
I'm not sure I really grasp that question, but I could give you an opinion on the Islam in North America, and it's not a place. North America is not a place that Islam will ever be comfortable in because it is so diametrically opposed. Its ideology is so diametrically opposed to the freedom that we the individual freedoms that we are privileged with here in a free society.
Use joy. You may think it's a privilege. I just think it's like, hey, how the hell are we going to run a modern civilization without freedom? Okay, one thing, Sid, suppose this happens. Suppose a bomb goes off in what's a Bible Belt city? Freaking, San Antonio at the James Hagee church, whatever, mega church, right? A bomb goes off in a mega church. Is the first thing that the FBI is going to come out and say, we're not sure this is an atheist that did it? I mean, what's the fucking point? What is the fucking point of that sort of approach to law?
No, I agree. It's like they always say, a black man killed XYZ, but they won't say a white man killed XYZ, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Or if you're a minority, you get pointed out as such. But if you're white, nobody points a finger.
Okay, listen. I want Islamic terrorism to go away, right? in a fashion where we don't have to, like, kill bystanders, right? Like the drone strikes. We have these drone strikes, and they do take out the baddies, but they also take out, innocent civilians too, because they're bombs, flying bombs that hit the houses, and the terrorists live among their own people, right? So, I mean, it's sort of like we're in a situation here where we have to, like, come up with a better way of thinking to approach the Islamic problem of, radical striking at anything Western with a bomb. You know what I mean?
I don't think that. I think everything's already been thought through. There's no new.
You don't think there's a better way?
There's nothing new you can come up with.
Okay, so
and
remember
I think,
World War I, where they used to, like, march right into the machine gun fire, and just millions of men got killed that way until somebody said, "Well, listen, let's figure out a different way." Infiltrators. They tried to figure out a different way in World War I.
That used to be going back to the Greek wars.
Right.
People fought and expected to die. That was that.
But right now we're in a situation where, like, our war with the Islamic radical is like in a military basis. Maybe we should be more like secret intelligence stealth. You know what I mean? Infiltrator type war. I hope they're taking that part. We have to have, like, in a way, like Terminators on our side. But I mean, not where they just indiscriminately kill people, but where they have a targeted, target. A person who knows what his job is, and he's going to take out one person, not a person who's going to take out many people and then radicalize, these people. Okay, if we have, like, these, naturalized citizens from Afghanistan, I hate to tell, people that are politically correct, but we need to have them under observation, under surveillance, because it's just too risky. They are.
Do you know how many people you'd be talking about?
Well, I mean,
you're pretty much talking about every immigrant from Afghanistan and Pakistan and wherever that has not integrated into American society, that doesn't have any American friends, that spends their time in the mosque and praying and kvetching, that kind of thing.
Fine. But Sid, that we are in a surveillance society here in America. I mean, they already got the cameras going. Why are they trained upon, normal everyday Joe, when we know that, if you're going to Syria for your vacation, you're going to come back fucked up? I mean, there's this thing that is maddening about the war on terror, the way it's being waged at the moment.
It's being waged politically correctly.
Yes.
And that is a losing strategy.
Okay. Sid, do you get mad when, terrorists strike the West?
No.
Like, you didn't get mad when the gay nightclub shooting went down, or now with this bombing?
No. The only time I got mad was the towers, 9/11. Right.
So, I mean, to you, it's sort of like, as long as it doesn't happen in my backyard, I'm,
no, I fully expect it to happen in my backyard. Why not?
Or, like, somebody attacks Vancouver.
As long as they're free and they're here, it'll happen.
Well, so, I mean, they wipe out your family members. What do? You just live with it? What's the Israeli mindset? I mean, what does the Israeli steps they take?
Well, specifically about what?
Well, like in Israel, when they blow up your relatives, what's your point of view as an Israeli citizen? You should just say, well, that's what happens, man. Is there time to go, or do you just figure out how the hell you're gonna eye to eye with the Arabs? Eventually, the Israelis are going to have to negotiate with the Arabs.
Everything that happens to a Muslim is because it's the will of Allah. So you can't give me that argument.
But don't you think, like, the Jews are going to have to talk to the Arabs, just settle the whole thing? I mean, right now,
excuse me, where have you been in the last 20, 30 years?
Well, the thing is,
all those Camp Davids and all this kind of stuff, and negotiations, and the offering of a settlement and the rejection by the Palestinians. And now an internal fight within the Palestinian faction between the
Jews fight within
Fatah and
themselves.
the Hamas, and they hate each other. So you know,
The Jews fight within
who
themselves.
are we going to talk to?
But the thing is like this. I know 20 or 30 years ago, we had President Carter who ironed out an agreement between Egypt and Israel. And now we got this guy in charge of Israel, the Likud, who, you know, absolutely has no for going for peace. He just wants to push the Palestinians off their land. You know, at whatever expense.
Well,
that's
firstly, Egypt was a country, sovereign. Egypt is a sovereign country, and so is Jordan. Palestine. There could have been an Arab Palestine many times over since 1948, and every single one of those offers has been rejected because of Arab stubbornness. I don't know why. Really, I don't know.
The Arabs, not the Jews.
Of course, when I offer you something that's like almost too good to be true, and you say no, like Arafat did, what do you do?
Okay, so you know, a Palestinian retaliates by blowing up one of your loved ones. You just retaliate, or you just accept it. You know, that's what's going to happen when I push Palestinians off their land. It's
going to happen until they stop. Yeah,
it's amazing. I don't know. I feel, you know, when they do mention the drone strikes that we do on the suspected, you know, terrorists and, you know, their families, I do feel bad for what occurs, and I do wish that there was a better way of. I know there is a better way of handling the war on terror than a drone strike.
They don't drone strike
like another option
in the territories. They don't use drones to strike in the territories. They go in with.
I mean, of course, I don't mean the Israelis, but I mean us, the U.S. We use the drone strike method.
That's fine. That's fine. Fuck
it. What's wrong with the drone strike method, Sid, is that it radicalizes everybody. I mean, this guy,
they're already radicalized. Don't you know that is that is such an invalid argument.
Really? Okay, so this guy from Afghanistan was already radicalized.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Explain.
He was already radicalized because he comes from a radical community in society. He comes to America, doesn't integrate, so
right.
So he doesn't get any less radical when he's here. He probably gets more radical because of the freedom that he sees around him, which he didn't see in Afghanistan. But now he sees it, and he gets fucking angry that the fucking Americans have freedom and not following Islam. What the fuck?
With your thinking there, then it would be always a mistake to have any sort of immigrants from that area coming to America, because they're just
it's always a mistake to have a religious immigrant. It's never a mistake to have a secular immigrant.
Okay, so you would be willing to accept the immigrant as long as they put aside their fanatical religious beliefs.
Yeah, put aside, move on, a different life. You know, people can go from very hippie lifestyle to very pious lifestyle, Judaism or whatever, right? And in the same way, you can do it the other way.
Okay.
Especially if you're going to a secular society, if you're going to move to a secular society, you adopt a secular lifestyle. And if you want to do that at home and be, you know, a Satanist or a Muslim or whatever, fuck it, who cares?
Okay, how about this? I would say that's a very practical way of thinking, Sid, but I know of no Western leader that would be brave enough to just say that on its face and, you know, put that policy into action. That, yes, we're more than willing to accept your refugee.
Vote for me. I'll do it.
Except, you know, we're not going to have any sort of radical religious, spiritual influence.
Right. I think, you know, when they talk about vetting people, right, to come to, they should vet them on the basis of their religious belief, and if they're very religious, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Islam. It could be Sikhism, it could be Hindu, it could be whatever, Tamil, you know, anything like that. They will still, if they're religious, they'll still come and not assimilate. Now they won't blow anybody up, and they won't bug everybody else, and they won't try and convert everybody else. They'll just basically not assimilate and have their own little ghettos, or which modern day ghettos, I guess.
Okay.
And I don't think that's a great thing either.
I don't think so. Okay, Sid. All right, multiculturalism is really getting a bad rap, right? Because
it doesn't work.
Yes, because I would say, I would say it's handcuffed from working. Okay, because what they do is exactly what you just described. They get into their own ghettos. They get into not wanting to assimilate. The most foremost activity of multiculturalism should be some sort of assimilation with the ideas of Western civilization. Don't you agree, Sid? I do.
Well,
you have to believe in freedom, dude. You can't.
I don't think there should need to be a multiculturalism, a multicultural context. It should be if you're coming to my country, and my country has just one culture, let's say, whatever, then I don't have to get along with your culture. You need to get along and integrate with my culture. That's the way immigration works. If it was the other way, if anybody who immigrates to Japan or to Pakistan or somewhere integrates into the culture that's already there, even if you're Western liberal or whatever the hell you are, you integrate and you present yourself in public or on the street according to the rules of the country or of the community, right? So, if it doesn't work, it's not a one-way street. It's either a two-way street or it's nothing.
All right. Well, I'm glad Russ came in. You see him there, Sid?
No,
I'm going to have to go in about 5 minutes because I got to go caretake Mama. But I would be more than willing to try to figure out some way of making this. He has to come back in, of making multiculturalism work. Because it is like, what do you say?
What's your first idea?
I would say that the idea on its face makes sense, but the way that it's being, run, how could you say, the function they're trying to derive from it right now is just not working. But I enjoy
for the most part, it's being abused.
Yes, it's being abused. It's very good.
It's not that it's failing; it's being abused, and that's why it's failing. It's not failing in principle, to a large extent. What I think what multiculturalism relies on is for the immigrants to want to integrate and to want to share their culture and to want to sort of
mix in, man. Add to the beauty of a society, not figure out a way of how you're going to blow us up.
Exactly, and figure out a way how you're going to live this village life in this big mansion in this beautiful, lush countryside or something.
Well, I have to say, I'm going to have to skip out right now and do some caretaking, but I'll hand over to Russ, and I hope things go well. We'll see you guys in a bit.
See you, Banto. Thanks for coming in. Russ.
Hello, Sydney. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well. Thank you for doing the mic check. And what have you been up to this lovely day?
Oh, today? Oh, no, it's just been a crazy one. Dropping the grandson off at school, then I had to run the wife up to the train station to go into the city, then pick the lad up, then pick the wife up, and then go and have a look at a wine chiller, which wouldn't fit in the back of my car. And now I'm home having a beer.
Right now you're home having a beer?
Uh-huh.
Very nice.
There you go. Where's all the rest of the loonies?
I don't know. I'm sending out a call right now.
Cool. Where are you, Sydney? Are you South Africa?
Excuse me?
Are you in South Africa?
Am I in South Africa?
Yeah.
My heart will always be there. No.
Are you South African?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you Viking?
No, definitely not. Irish.
You're Irish.
Yes.
Well, I think that the Irish, the whole island should be the Republic of Ireland, don't you think?
Yes, I do. Most certainly.
Well, could you make it happen? Like, please?
Well, it'd be good if it could, but this disgusting government over in there, they don't let go of nothing, mate. You know what I mean? I mean, I was in the British Army, late 70s, early 80s. I did a couple of tours in Northern Ireland. I mean, it was nothing heavy. It's nothing like what goes on now. But I really did sympathise with the people over there. And the same old government did the same old thing, did the old same old divide and conquer through this stupid word called religion. You know, and if they would join together, they'd get rid of the Brits out of there, but they don't. They're too busy fighting amongst each other. Too dumb enough to see what's happening. But then again, I think Ireland's changed now. It's the political side's gone. It's more like it's a major drug dealing fucking place now. A lot of shit gets moved on there and then moved over here. And it's all the old terrorists that are doing it. It's all about the money.
So, what's happening with your country? What's it going to look like in 10 years' time?
Pretty damn bad, mate. I'm not racist at all, you know what I mean? I'm really not racist. But it is a shame. This country is going to be like the rest in Europe. They're going to be bred out, you know what I mean? And there is a big integration of mixed marriages at the moment. There's a huge influx in Muslimism. Do you know what I mean? They're fucking stupid in this country. But we live on an island. I don't even know why we was in Europe. We're the most self-sufficient country, really, on the planet. We've got ample water. We can grow ample food. We've got ample reserves of oil, ample reserves of natural gas. We're just getting into the technology of using, like, wind farms and tide farms and stuff like that. I don't know. The Brexit was the best thing that ever happened. You know what I mean? But it isn't enough. It's a lovely little place. You know what I mean? It's like the military, mate. I hate the military of this country. They're called the Ministry of Defence, and they've never defended fuck all. The only people that we had to defend were the Vikings and the fucking Germans. And that was it. The Germans never got here. You know, so crazy place. Certainly not like it was. It's like my wife, she's from a place called Rosendale Valley. It's about 25 miles from where I live in Wigan. There's a mountain range just over the other side of it. It's only a small mountain range. About 25 miles away. I met my wife in 1981, and there was quite a large Asian community. And even though it's only a very small place, there was a larger Asian community. Where over where I lived, there was absolutely there wasn't any Asians. There wasn't any blacks. There was an odd Chinese takeaway open and stuff like that. Where now it's ridiculous. There's a big market here on a Sunday across the road from my house, and you know, there's got hundreds of different nationalities of people.
Is it going to the pub still an English tradition?
No, I don't go to the pub anymore, mate. I used to have pubs. That was the work that me and my wife did. So I was always working them. I finished them in 2002. And I don't go to the pub. I don't go to the pub. Everything's you can go in. It doesn't matter which town you go in this country. The pubs are exactly the same. They're all corporate boozers. Like all walkabout bars or all jumping jacks, all this, all that. So you might as well not even, it doesn't matter where you go, it's the same old shit next door to each other, selling the same old shit. There's not much character left now in pubs, There is if you go out into the country.
So you think the internet has kind of taken over where pubs left off, maybe?
I wouldn't really think so much of that because people are on the internet all the time. They've got them on their phones. I stayed with all the shit I went through for a couple of weeks. I stayed over at my daughter's house, and there's a bus stop across the road. And over here, the double-decker buses, and it was just fucking crazy, man. Everybody's got hold of the phone, and they're all like that, So I don't think it's necessarily that, the pubs. What they did do is they actually put the even when I was in the game, they started slamming up the taxes on beer out year upon year upon year upon year. Then they also was slapping you. If you had premises, I had 3 nightclubs and 2 bars. And every 12 months, they'd have new health and safety. I'd have to have like I put like £6,000 worth of electrics in the year before. And then they came back the year later and said, they've all got to come out now. And I've got to have it done with pyro instead of armoured casing, which cost me another £7,000. It's and each pub, each and every, none of mine did, thankfully. You know what I mean? My partner bought mine off me, and he was still going for a few years after I left. But the local boozers, one by one, you see them shutting down because the beer prices had to get up. And then what they did is they dropped all the prices of beer in supermarkets. You know, you can buy like 15 cans of beer for, you know what I mean, the price of 2 pints of beer. 15 cans of beer for the price of 2 pints of beer. So that's all that's happened. They strangled out of it.
Say hi to Brojo, everybody. Hello, Brojo.
Hello, Sid. And Russ.
Howdo.
What's up?
Not the sun, yeah. This is we're just transitioning to the fall, the autumn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a couple of days here. Yeah, we'll be officially fall. Yeah.
Oh, it's given us a taste already.
I love this. I love this season. The foliage over here is just beautiful. When we get into the fall,
it's the fall,
and the weather's nice. You go to sleep with the window open, nice breeze. You're under the covers. Oh, beautiful.
You must live down south.
Nope, northeast. The States.
Oh, I never know where the hell everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that they're right in front of me.
So what I walk into, what are you guys talking about? I didn't want to.
Well, Bunto was just in and he left. And he was trying to push my buttons about...
Oh, what else is new? Bunto pushing buttons? Nah.
yeah. But he got bored. But earlier I was in a hangout, MK's hangout with, and Dawkins came in. And he started firing on both hands.
Mm-hmm.
And that became
so nothing new, really.
No, exactly. Except that there were a lot of people in MK's room, and I had my say, I guess, since somebody else was talking. So, and they were still arguing about Jesus and whatnot. And that was kind of getting a little bit tedious to listen to. So I just opened up this one to see if we can broaden the scope of the conversation.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
So you're talking about economics now, from what I'm seeing your comment there.
Well, Russ was telling me what a shite place England is right now. Well, has become.
No, it certainly has. Awful. I mean, I'm moving. We're moving in spring, but I'm not emigrating. We're moving down to the southwest of this country, which is Cornwall.
Cornwall?
Yeah, Cornwall. The Atlantic Ocean, actually, it's Cornwall. It's lovely down there. But Cornwall have been against the British government for a hell of a long time. There was another place that got raped and pillaged by them. Nearly every bit of tin came from Cornwall. Got ships all around the world. And then they just left it to hang out and dry, and it did run down. I mean, going back to about 15, 20 years ago, I could buy a property down there for a lot less than what I could where I live here. And up north is very, very cheap house prices. Certainly nothing like London or the south of England.
I think Cornwall was Lancastrian.
No, I live in Lancaster, but I come under Lancashire, the county of Lancashire.
So
Cornwall.
where's the city of Lancaster?
Lancaster's in. I'm from Lancashire, so it's near Preston, Blackpool that way.
What geographical part of England is it in?
The northwest.
And now you're moving down southwest, right?
Yeah, and now I'm going right down to the bottom of the southwest. Yeah.
Isn't that near Wales?
Pardon?
I was just asking if opportunities were better there. Is that why you're moving?
Yeah, the lifestyle's a lot better there. The lifestyle's a lot more slowed down. It's not hectic. It's not as regular.
Exactly why I moved from New York to Pennsylvania.
Right. Yeah. I believe it, mate. Honestly, I mean, I'm very fortunate when I do go down there. I'll be ready to move in, and I literally will be off the grid, and that's all I've ever wanted to do for certainly the last couple of years.
Nice.
And I can do, and opportunities come along. Like I say, things happen for a reason. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. You might have really good days, and sometimes you have really bad times in life. But I've found over the 55 years that I've been here, or at least the last 30, where I've had some sort of fucking conscience of what's going on, is that, you know, I just hate how I hate taking my grandchildren to school. You know what I mean? Because I know I went actually. The kids went back to school a couple of weeks ago, and we had to go. He's only 6, and I had to go in one afternoon last week, Friday afternoon, while they introduced you to the teachers and told you what they were going to do with them, and this is what we've got planned out, and this is what they have to do, and this is what they have to work, and these are the 3 choices, the meals that they get a day. And I was serious. And when she was, I've had a bit of a do with this woman before, over a teaching method. You know, if you're going to tell them history, tell them the fucking the lot of it. Don't just take out little snippets of it. Give them the full picture, even at their age. But she said that there's anybody, and I had to bite my tongue. You know what I mean? But I told them, I told this teacher last year, I went, when the grandkids finish, over here they go to juniors, and then they go on to secondary school. But if they don't want to go to school when it comes time for secondary school, then they won't be going. You know what I mean? They've got to have a few years of learning themselves. They've got to certainly got to have a few years of knowing how to look after themselves. You know what I mean? You know, if there was a catastrophe, if Russia and China kicked off in 6 months' time with Europe and America and all the rest, you reckon there's 3 days supplies of food in supermarkets? All the food will be gone in 3 days. You know what I mean? They're not teaching children anything in school. They're teaching them how they want them to be for the rest of their life, and that is, I just cannot get my head around it. It really fucks me up, to be honest with you. It is indoctrinating. When I went to school, it was not like when my grandkids go to school. They're teaching them stuff now at 6 and 7 years of age that you're like, what is the fucking point? What is the point of they're coming on with homework that I've never even heard of. And I'm on about subject matters. I'm on about a story and history or something of it with geology or anything like that. Just basically, they're coming on with all this, you know, 1 and 1 equals 2. You don't need a blackboard that the size of a gable end of a house with numbers and shapes to come up with 2 at the end. I just think they confuse everybody. They're picking out the best ones that, you know, they want to put forward. They're doing
that here in the States too with I think they call it Common Core mathematics, you know. Forget the simplest way of trying to get it done. No, they got to go into this big long explanation and then.
Come on, I mean, really, you know, a child's mind is a child's mind. You know what I mean? It really doesn't. I'm very fortunate. My little lad, he's my grandson, so I'm absolutely amazed how he reads it, and he really, really enjoys going to school. Like I said, if he wants to go to secondary school, I ain't going to stop him. If he picks up something, I am not going to get in any of the ways. But he is clever, but they're not giving them any time. They get homework at 6 years of age, homework every single night, and they're supposed to read half an hour every single night. No, it's also coming into autumn here. In another few weeks, when the clocks go, is it back and forward? Back. It's dark at 4:30.
Yeah. It goes back.
Yeah, it's dark at 4:30. You know what I mean? So by the time that they've done a bit of reading, by the time that they've done their own work, it's getting on, and they've had the tea. It's 6 o'clock. It's pitch black. You know, you know, we don't let 6-year-olds play out. I live in where I live. It's just fields and forest all behind me for as far as the eye can see. But you know, we don't let them wander. But they've got no time whatsoever. They're not giving them any time to be children. Absolutely not. I mean, you can take your child over here now to school. You pay extra, but you can drop them off at 6 o'clock in the morning and pick them up to 8 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? And it's all about parents aren't like my generation. When me and my wife didn't work. She didn't have to work because she was a housewife. We had 3 kids. When the kids finally matured and left, well, when we first left school, my wife was then working with me. Things are a lot easier then. You know, my mortgage was, and I never lost anything through a mortgage, but my mortgage was something like about £90 a month. You know what I mean? I used to earn £100 a night going back to 1986. With this day and age, a mortgage now, you're talking both parents need to work to be able to even get on the property ladder over in this country. Both parents need to work, and this is the thing about.
Mm-hmm. I'm only a little bit younger than you, yeah. And I remember the rule of thumb when I was a kid was a week's salary should pay for your rent, your mortgage.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And now, and that was like with one parent working.
Yeah.
And now you have 2 parents working, and you know it takes up half of your pay. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I see it all the time. Everybody in this country is in debt, and people go, no, they don't. They just have credit wallets full of credit cards. I see women at the supermarkets, and no one pays with cash. They're just pulling out debit cards, credit cards. Everything's the same, and they're just designed to do it. You know, they're designed, we'll just pay a bit off it this week and pay that off next week.
Oh yeah, when I go shop, I never use a debit card because there's always that temptation. It's like the tendency is gonna be to pay more than or buy more, because you just have all that access.
Yeah.
I'd rather just carry cash on me. This is what I'm going to spend. I use a credit card when I have to, of course, online, business, whatever. But groceries and stuff, cash.
It's not going to be that long before we won't have cash in our pockets. You know what I mean? And when that day comes, we're absolutely bollocks. Do you know what I mean? Because they know everything you do. They know everything what you buy. They know. They know every penny that goes to you. You know what I mean? They're going to take them taxes out of them people, but before you even get rid of it.
The mark of the beast.
That's exactly what it is. It is. I tell you what, I was shocked. My mate's daughter goes to a secondary school. And this is a couple of years ago, and he went. What I do is every Monday morning I put 20 quid or 25 quid into a bank account in school, and she can only get fed. They took a thumbprint, and she goes up to a vending machine and puts a thumb on it to select the food. So without giving a thumbprint for a start, and without having forward funds in there, she can't even get into a vending machine. But what people don't understand is every child in this country are having the fucking fingerprints took.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's every single one of them.
I think that's a good thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is that a good thing?
Because you have immediate identification on record.
Okay, that's right.
From the time the child's a kid.
No, no.
Great
I
thing.
mean, it's a bit like putting a chip in a child, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It's not actually. It's like taking their fingerprints.
Well, it's the same old thing. But basically, what you're doing is.
But the thing is, you're giving you're giving up rights to a part. I mean, a child doesn't even have the know-how or can even answer, whether they want to give up their identity to someone else. So it's almost,
It's adding to the database. In fact, they should also give up a DNA sample, so that could be added to the database. That's what I think.
Well,
I wish that I had had my fingerprints taken and my DNA had been added to the DNA database when I was born.
Nothing stopping you now.
There's no stopping you now. Yeah, exactly. You could actually go and have it done now.
I know I can have it done now, but
Right.
oh, what? Why? So go do it.
I mean, it is exactly what it is. It's your
I'll
DNA.
start a GoFundMe. You guys want to?
If you do it under compulsion, it's okay for you, Sydney. But voluntarily, no, you won't do it. And that's the point.
There's a lot of things I didn't volunteer for when I was a baby.
Like being born.
I didn't volunteer for that for a start, and then I didn't even volunteer for the shots and getting sick and causing stress to my parents. Like I didn't volunteer for that. But I had to deal with it, and I'm not too sure I did a very good job of dealing with it. So shove me back in and let's start again.
These kind of conversations keep reminding me of a quote from Ben Franklin. It says, "Those who will," I don't know, I don't want to paraphrase, but those who will compromise liberty for security deserve neither.
I agree with that 100%.
Right, listen, guys, I'm just going to nip out for a bit. I'll stay in the room and I'll have my mic off. I've just got some paperwork to look through with my mates here.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually have to send an email out myself, so.
Well, this
I'm
is going to be a very
AFK.
short hangout. Great.
I had a couple people, but now I just found out that they're in another hangout. They're doing, Brandon Cropper is doing his hangout. I thought he was doing it later on.
Oh, I would bung you to hang out with Brandon. All right.
Okay, yeah, I'm going over there. If you don't mind, he's
I'll
got one
go there,
going.
sure.
They started one called Brain Porn.
All right. I'll see you there. Thank you, everybody, for coming and watching and hanging out, and see you later.